Black and brown creatives, understand me. L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast is here. I am looking for you. L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast. You trying to get it out there? DM me. I will shout out your work. I will drop links to your work. This is free. You don't have to give me a penny. I just want your time and your story, good brother. I just want your time and your story, good sister. We have our platform now. Let's get out there. This is what's up. This is what you need to do. I want your work to be out there, and I'm waiting on you. Tell me a story. Welcome back, everybody, and all of y'all to the L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast. I am your host, Ijlal Abdullah Muhammad, and as always, we about to get in some things. So today, I have a very, very special guest. She graduated from Overton Creative Programming Arts High School. She's a self-taught metal artist. She's had a successful fashion showcase at the world-renowned Miami Swim Week. And, but not least, she was a special feature in Harper's Bazaar magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, creatives, please clap it up for Memphis's own Sincerely Antoinette is in the building remotely. Miss Sincerely Antoinette, how are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for saying you was going to be on the show. You know, the pleasure is all mine. I'd be out there, you know, day and night, like, come on, you do my show, please do my show. No, but I really do appreciate you coming on. So yeah, how's the day going so far?
So far, so good. I got up and watered my plant and just soaking in some sun, just enjoying the day. Happy Friday.
Not happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you. Not to make fun. But I guess everybody is always used to hearing, well, I watered my plants. You specifically said I watered my plant.
So I only have one.
I only got one. I got this one, and she's a stronghold plant. She's been with me for a long time. And
I'm trying to hold on to her.
You're trying to hold on to her.
Anything else? I got to focus on one thing at a time. If I can get her to live to 1 year, I'm good. Yeah.
You got to focus on one thing at a time. And
one thing at a time.
There you go. That's a T-shirt right there. Got to focus on one thing at a time and start with your plan.
Start with your plan.
Start with your plan. If I can get her to 1 year, have we done this before and weren't successful?
No, this is actually my first plan.
Oh, this is the first time?
Yes.
Okay, that's what's up. What type of plant?
So I didn't.
What type of plant?
She's a peace lily.
A peace lily. Look, I'm asking like I know plants. I don't know. You could have been
typically you give peace lilies like after a passing, homegoing. So this is my first one. And I'm really trying to get her to the year mark because I'm not a plant person. I want to be a plant person. So if I can get her to the year, then maybe I'll start, investing in more plants.
More plants. Yeah. That's it. I think you're not alone there. For me, I want to be two things. I want to be a runner, someone who gets out there and runs every morning. I want that so bad. I want that to be me so bad. I want that for me. And I want to be a plant person. I want to be like, oh yes, this is my ficus, and I water her 3 times a day. Give her 50% sunlight. I want to be that guy. I think I'm closer to being a plant person than I am someone who gets out there and runs every morning. No kidding, Sincerely Antoinette. It's bad. Like I'll be watching people as I'm driving by like this. I want to be like you. It's almost creepy if you catch me looking at you.
Oh my God.
But it's not. It's admiration. That's all it is. It's admiration. You said that. What is the name of the plant again?
Well, she's a peace lily.
A peace lily. Now, did you lose someone?
I did. I lost my grandmother last year. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So yeah, I was gifted with a plant. My grandmother, she was an avid gardener. like
Oh, okay.
plants, flowers. She stayed in the garden. So I was like, I gotta keep this plant alive. Like I gotta keep this plant alive at least for the first year. But honestly, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well?
She's
Okay.
thriving. Yeah.
Good, good. I'm rooting for you.
Thank
I'm
you.
rooting for you and your peace lily. Did you give her a name?
I call her Granny.
Look.
I call her Granny.
Okay, we are only like 2 minutes in. Tears start after 15 minutes. I didn't state that. That's my fault. I have a strict rule on the L.O.S.T Creatives podcast. No tears until after 15 minutes. All right.
I'm not crying. You are.
I will shut this thing down.
I'm not
No
crying,
tears until
you
after
are.
15 minutes. Correction. All right. Well, let me be more specific. No making me cry until after 15 minutes. Yes? We agree on that?
I can't make any promises. I'll do my best.
Okay. I see where
best.
I see where this show is going to go. All right. So, we were talking about very briefly. We weren't really talking about, but you briefly mentioned your granny, and you got the peace lily. So that's just a wonderful segment, or rather, we're going to use that as a good transition to get right into how we do things on the L.O.S.T Creative Podcast. So, as I stated before, I love stories. I love storytelling. I'm an author. I wrote L.O.S.T, Lovers of Storytime, which is a short story compilation of 7 short stories. So obviously, I'm huge into stories, and I just think that telling stories is a great way to relate to people, to get information, to understand things better. So I figure what a better way than to have a theme where the creatives tell their story, their creative journey, through like a story format. So, breaking down your creative journey into 3 chapters. Okay, start, middle, and present. We're going to jump right into that. And I know, speaking previously, we already had those listed. So let's go ahead and start with chapter 1, as titled, "It Started with Family Creative Influence." Let's go ahead and get into that.
So yeah, it started with family creativity. I remember being between 5, even go as far as 8. My grandfather was a very creative man. He would sit with me for hours drawing cartoons, playing his guitar, just introducing me to all forms of art, singing, dancing, things that I didn't even realize could be worth anything. We just found joy in spending that time together, and I felt okay being creative. I felt like it was the right thing.
That. I felt okay being creative. That's nice. You can. I'm with. You are gonna, unbeknownst to you, you're gonna be dropping gems all throughout the show, and I'm gonna be writing them down. So okay. I loved it. I felt it was okay being creative. That's the reason why I'm writing this down. Is I don't know if you realize just how powerful that statement was. It's as creatives, we take our creativity for granted, right? Because it's just something that we do. Yeah. But it's not to be taken for granted at all. I mean, everybody can't do this, or else everybody would be doing it. Right. But that also doesn't mean that we're okay, or we feel it's okay to be creative, or to be creative in the way that we are. And that's pretty. I mean, I know I've definitely felt that before. I don't know if this thing that I'm doing here is even something that I should be doing, creatively, or other people will like it. So you said, I felt it was that environment that your grandfather created for you was, I mean, it was priceless.
It was. I mean,
Because
being young and growing up, you're told to go to school, learn, get a good job, do this to be
Mhm.
successful. But there it was like, no, you can also do this.
Mm.
Doing this is okay. If this is what you enjoy. Even with my father, he still, even currently, like still crazy creative. He
Mm.
would sit with me for hours and we would draw fashion, like clothes. He would help me create like fashion lines, and we would draw out the models and draw what their clothes look like. And he would have all these ideas just bouncing off, and he would bounce them off to me. And I'm just like, yeah, this is where I get this from. Like, 'cause
Mhm.
my creativity, especially when I was really young, it was all over the place. I
Mm.
did poetry. I wrote short stories, plays. I drew. I had many fashion shows. Like anything creative that I could do, they made me feel like it was okay to do and be all of those things. I kept my parents very, very busy. Let's just say.
That's what's up. Having, I don't know, it's always a great thing when you have creative DNA, right? And apparently it didn't skip any generation. Like you said, your grandfather, your father, you, right? It's just running, and you said all over the place. That's so funny because my creativity has not stopped being all over the place.
Really?
No, I'm dead serious. It's like, and this, look, I'm so serious. I'm going to say this in the most humbling way. I really am.
Okay.
I have found that if I devote some type of time, I find out that I'm pretty good in that thing. Like, okay, I don't agree with this, but some people say who've heard me that I can't sing. Now, I think that's full of crap. I've heard myself in the shower, and give me a break. They hate.
So now you're gonna drop a tune for us?
They just hate Sincerely. But come on now, this is about you. This is not about me. No, let's not go there. Okay,
Just a little run.
I just no, because then what's going to happen is, I'm going to tell you with Sincerely Antoinette, this is what's going to happen. I'm gonna bust a little note real quick, right? Okay, and I'm good with mine, so I can give you Barry Wright, or I can give you, El DeBarge. I mean, make no difference for the kid. But anyway, I'm gonna do that, right? And then you're gonna be open, and you're gonna be like, no, I can't move forward until you finish, and then I'm gonna have to finish. And then once I get going, I got to give you at least 3 more ballots. And it's just, that's not what this was about. Okay, so let's bring it back in.
Okay.
I'm
not gonna forget though.
I mean, look, you can remember as much as you want. When we're done, maybe.
When we're done.
Maybe. This, I gotta. But when we're done, I gotta check to see how much tape we got.
Sounds like a lot of excuses. He's really trying to get back.
No, these are reasons. Not excuses. Okay, there's a big difference. I have never given an excuse in my life. Reasons, plentiful, but not one excuse.
Okay.
So you were saying, it's just, you said you were everywhere with your creativity, and I just think that, a lot of times as creatives, that's very true for us. And it's almost like a mark, right, of I don't want to say a true creative, but of an honest creative. Like, it's just something, right? You see something and your brain starts going, and then let me try it, and that's the joys and the burden of being a creative. So with that, still within the first chapter, your family providing a creative influence, that took you where?
I guess making it my own. Are we going into the next chapter, or?
Well, this is all about you. If you want to move right on into the next chapter, we can do that.
Okay, let's do
You
it.
know, so now, if you don't mind, I would like to ask the question
Okay.
before we go into the next chapter. You said it led you to making it your own, and you did list a few things. You said your father would, you would sit there and y'all would do, you would draw like, what was it, fashion.
Yeah.
What'd you say? You would draw
Just
was
like
it
little fashion mock-ups and
fashion mock-ups, right? Now, would you say that there obviously the entire experience uh, played a huge part in your life, but were there any specific moments, or with your grandfather or with your father, that you can always attribute to some point you're at now, or some thinking you have now, or some process you have now, that I remember that one time when my father did this, or my grandfather was playing this tune, and for some reason I had asked, was there any moments during that entire creative upbringing that are always stained in your mind, and you just always remember them, even if they're just for the sake of, I'll never forget that moment, I'll never forget that time, because subconsciously it could very well be playing a major effect in how creative you are right now. So we know that was your upbringing, but were there any special moments, that you never forget, that you know?
I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if I've ever thought of it that way. For me, with my grandfather, a lot of our time spent together was being in his bedroom, whether I was listening to him play his guitar, me singing along with him. He had his hands in a lot of things too, but I feel like what I got from him, and honestly, this is all just coming to me now. I literally never even thought about it. When I was young, and I said we weren't gonna cry. But anyway.
We're past the 15-minute mark, so you're fine.
Okay. He was very good with his hands, drawing, guitar, like building things. And I remember I didn't have a bed, in his home, but he would make a makeshift bed for me, and we would build that bed together, just so I could be in his room. We would take
every time.
Every time.
Oh wow! No, that's. Oh.
But I mean, we would literally take two chairs. We would slide them together. He would put the cushion from the sofa in the center, cover it with a blanket, me, and then just cover me with the sheet, and that was my bed for the night. And we would build that bed together every night that I was in his bedroom, and we would just sing. He would play the guitar, and I'll be honest, I was really young, but for some reason I don't think that he played very well. But to me, it was the most. It was the
best thing you ever heard.
It was the best thing. It was the best thing. And I feel like now thinking about it, it's not going to be great to everyone, but he did it anyway. He didn't just play for me. I mean, my mom would tell me that, he played for the neighborhood. He would go to my auntie's cafe and he would play there. And I don't think he was very good, but he played anyway.
He played anyway.
He loved it so much. He did it anyway because it brought him joy. I don't even know if he realized that he wasn't that good, and I don't even think it really mattered. But I feel like now I'm realizing that the takeaway from that was, yes, it was embedded in me, being creative, loving art, but loving it so much that I do it even if no one else enjoys it, even if no one else loves or wants to see it. I do it because it brings me joy. Come on. Like it's crazy how that just came to me.
It,
But yeah.
it. Well, first of all, you're welcome. No. I mean, this is what's like so refreshing, when you're speaking with a fellow creative, because we all have those moments. We all have those moments where so many things that we have taken for granted, but if we actually take time to think about it, it's just, you realize like, no, that's actually that played a huge effect in where I'm at now. I remember when I was in kindergarten, PS308, shout out to PS308 in Brooklyn. I was in kindergarten, and every morning the teacher would say, draw whatever you dreamed about. The night. That's dope, right? Like I just thought it was such and I never forgot it. So one day I drew this crazy. I remember I had watched Transformers the movie not too long ago with Unicron and everything, and so I thought Unicron was so ill. Anyway, so I drew this like really dope Unicron looking character. I had like 15 different colors. I was going to other people's desks. Let me get that color right there, And the teacher came over and she looked at it. She was just like, and I remember her saying, she said, he is so good. And she called me over to back to my desk. She said, Ijlal, this is wonderful. But is this what you dreamed? I said, no. And she was just like, okay, baby, but you're supposed to draw what you dreamed. I was like, I don't even remember my dream. I think I was playing in the back. I don't know, but I wanted to draw this. But it's just, and I never forgot that, because one of the things that I consistently mention, it's hard for me not to express my creativity the way I want to express it. The way I want to express it. I'm learning very much now that, people, you're like Chef Jamila B had said, if your art is a business, and if you aren't making business decisions with it and you're not making money from it, then all it is a hobby. It's just a hobby you're doing. And either you're doing that hobby full time or you're not. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to go business, then you have to be business minded. So, and business minded means your fan base or your client base, they like your work, obviously, but they may have some requests. They may want things certain ways, and you may not want to do it that way. But if this is what you want, then you have to make those adjustments. So I'm learning very much that it's important. Feedback, criticisms are important, but it always fights against that in me that's just like, yeah, but I want to do it like this. Yeah. But yeah, it's whenever. It's always good to take out time and just meditate. Especially as creators, we need meditation so bad. We really do. Like, just time to, that usually turns into some form of creativity, but just to be like, okay, because like, for example, I don't know how often you do it, but I'm willing to bet you that if you meditated more, you probably would have made much more connections with your grandfather and how that's playing certain moments played an effect. I know that for a fact because you said, I never thought about it. And then here you go explaining a very specific thing that would happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long for you to do it. That means it was just right there. It was just right there on your tongue, just waiting for you to tap into it. And I definitely meditate more because it takes your creativity to a whole nother level, because then you start tapping into all those things that your family influence, the things
Right.
you've seen on the street, you know, and all that stuff. It just grows big. I mean, do you meditate at all?
So last week, um, I, I start and I stop. I'm not very consistent. So last week, I made it a point to myself to be more intentional with my meditation. So I said I'm gonna start small. So every day for the past, what's today? Like for the past week, I've taken 5 minutes every day, and I've just sat and I've meditated. And now I'm at a point where now I'm like, okay, 5 minutes isn't enough, so I'm going to bump it up every week, and I'll just go from there. I'm just kind of giving myself room to not get overwhelmed with it, but it has helped so much within the first week. I feel clearer. I feel like I can see a little bit more clear. So I'm really excited to see what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even an hour. I just heard somebody meditated for like 10 hours. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that must feel like for that person. But I want to get there. Do you do 10 hours?
I do 15. No, not even close. Not even close. Look, I'm married with 5 children. 10 hours. That means if 10 hours, I'm telling you right now, Sincerely Antoinette, 10 hours, somebody's going to die. 2 people going to get hurt. My wife's going to leave me. I cannot, please. No, I cannot sacrifice 10 hours to myself. The last time I did 10 hours to myself, I think I was 10 years old and I was on punishment. Like, I think that's the last time I got 10 hours to myself. And I didn't appreciate it then because I was on punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But what 10 hours, yeah, okay. That's that. I don't know who told you they did 10 hours. This is clearly a single person with not many responsibilities.
No, he went to like a meditation camp. Like he went to it was wherever he went, it was specifically for that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. See, that's the only way it could work.
Right.
No, but I mean, and it's like, I really do need that time. I have to give myself a focus. Because if I don't give myself a focus, even with meditating, if I don't give myself something to just focus on, even if the focus on is just being quiet, if I just let my brain go, then it's counterproductive. It really is. Because then I start thinking about this, and then I start thinking about how to do that. And I'm like, oh, but I don't have time. But maybe I can make time. And then the meditation becomes stressful. Yeah. And it's just like, well, damn, wow, look what you just did to yourself.
Yeah.
But no, so I'm trying to be more consistent with it. But yeah, it's definitely key. So moving on to chapter 2, the huge influence. You come from a very big creative background. Your grandfather was singing for the town. He was making you your makeshift bed that y'all made every time you went over. That's so cute. Your father would do the fashion drawings with you, so creativity is clearly in you, and it's sending you every which way, and eventually you start to move into your own, right?
Yeah.
So chapter 2 has titled Jewelry, COVID, Coping, and the Birth of Something Great. So let's go ahead.
Yes. So prior to me branding Sincerely Antoinette, I had a jewelry line called Exotic Expressions. This was during a period where I was still a little bit all over the place. I started this line about, I would say roughly 15 years ago. And I was not consistent. I did not believe that I could be successful in it. I started that project and I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah. A few years after, of course, we all encountered COVID.
Yeah.
And during that time, you know, like so many, we were all isolated. I feel like I was in a place where I was really searching for something. I didn't know what that something was, but I was aimlessly searching for something, some type of fulfillment, and I just wasn't getting it. So when COVID happened, I had my partner. We were living together in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I felt aimless. I felt like nothing was going right. My mental space was just, it wasn't the best. I experienced a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of self-secluding, like at the point where we were all just kind of sheltered. I would see people with these pendants, just beautifully wrapped pendants. And I would always say, you know, I want one of those pendants. And I had somebody explain to me what crystals and stones were, and, you know, the meaning and how you handle those things. Of course, now I'm interested. But every time I would go to this place where they say that they could get these pendants, the wire artist was never there. Never there. So I could never get a pendant. And I did this for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I could never catch this person. So I got to a point as an artist, I'm just going to make my own. I'm going to try to figure out how, to do it.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm sorry. I was saying that's it's wonderful, right? How you don't even realize how, you know, the Lord's moving you.
Yeah.
Because every time you went, not there. Everybody and their mama walking around with this, but whenever you come for some reason,
not there.
The next thing you know, it's like,
and I would ask, like, what day will this person be here? Oh, they're going to be here Tuesday. I pull up Tuesday. Oh, they no longer work. What in the world is going on? Like, what is happening? So, neither here nor there. I said I was going to make my own pendant. I'm just going to make my own. So I went to Michael's. I got some wire. You know, I bought a stone and came home and I wrapped it. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Oh, snap. Yo, I was not expecting you to say that.
It was bad. I looked at that thing. I said, "This looks absolutely nothing like what I saw on that girl. Like, where's the artist? I need her to make."
Wait a minute. This ain't possible.
And it was so humbling because as an artist, you think, I could do this. I could figure. No. I said, But because COVID, nobody's outside, you know, everybody's in the house. All I had was time. And I was so intrigued by it. I was so drawn into it that I kept trying. I kept going. I didn't get much better, but I mean, I could kind of see it gradually forming into something. And I finally made a pendant that I felt proud to wear, you know, finally.
So real quick, I gotta know, how many variations did you go through before you was like, yeah, this is it? Maybe we don't want to say.
Hundreds. I would say
hundreds. You did hundreds? Yo, that's some serious dedication.
I had one stone and I probably wrapped that thing about 100 times. I would cut the wire off anytime. I'd be like, this is horrible. Like, what is this? Like, why are my fingers maneuvering in the way that I need them to maneuver to create this pendant? I just want one pendant. And I couldn't figure it out. It just hundreds. I wasted so much wire trying to create this one pendant just to wear. Yeah.
Now you see, for those that do know, Sincerely Antoinette, at Sincerely Antoinette on Instagram. I mean, your work is bomb. Okay, your jewelry is amazing, and this is just a testament to, you know what? Rather than put that on you, I'll put it into a question.
Okay.
What would make you try that many times at something that wasn't, off of you wanting a pendant? Because you didn't say at this point I wanted to be a metal artist. You just said I wanted to have a pendant. So you're doing all of this, going through all these variations, hundreds of them. This is costing money. Just to have a pendant? Like, explain the drive there.
Well, going back to my mental health, my anxiety, me aimlessly searching for something. Being a queer woman, I had lost my relationship with the church and with God. And I felt like leading up to the point where I started really suffering mentally and looking for something, I felt like meeting the person who wore that pendant sparked an interest in spirituality and learning about a different side. To me, that pendant represented hope. I felt like I need this to rebuild something that I'm missing within myself. I didn't realize how much God was in all of it at that point. I didn't realize. But that pendant to me meant I have something I can hold on to, something that's going to give me hope that it's going to be okay, that everything is going to be okay, and that there is a purpose to where I am right now. So I kept trying. I honestly, I can't even tell you why. I can't even begin to express how lasered in I was on making sure that I had that pendant. Like I said, I only had one stone, and I rewrapped that thing.
I think you just did express exactly why you were so lasered in.
Yeah. So it was important to me because I felt like there was something that I was missing. I didn't understand then what it was, but I felt like having that pendant was going to give me something that I was missing. It wasn't to create jewelry. It wasn't to create a jewelry line. It was solely because I felt like I was missing something.
So 2 questions. 1, did it give you exactly what you were looking for? And where did that take you? And then the other question is, do you still have that pendant?
I would say yes. I will say it opened the door to what I was looking for. I feel like it opened me up a little bit more to learning and being more receptive to my spirituality and reconnecting with God, reconnecting and learning about my ancestors, learning about my lineage. It opened the door for me to hope, to becoming more hopeful. And I absolutely do still have that pendant. I absolutely do still have it. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be with me forever.
It's going to be, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I knew you still had it. I was just like, nah, you didn't do all of that just to lose this pendant. That's okay. So that's two things. Like, first it was granddaddy and the makeshift bed, and then this pendant and all she went through. Like, oh man, you see, this is what I was hoping for. This was the dream of creating a podcast. And when I say an intimate podcast, you know, because those.
And honestly, I said it's just all flowing at it. I'm really amazed at myself because I mean I told you I was really hesitant about doing it because I have such a fear of, you know.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, you definitely stated that. You was like, look, I like the idea, but I don't know. I mean, I don't go outside but 2 minutes out of the day. I never look a human being in their eyes. I don't know about that. I just want to create jewelry and love life.
That's it. Like, don't ask me to speak to nobody in public. Don't ask me to come on the show because, you know. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because I'm in my head and I'm scared. Like,
And then look at that. You did it, and then now you're realizing that sleeping on your granddaddy's chair/bed played a part.
It did.
Boom. Yeah. See how this keep happening to you? Look, it happened to you X amount of years ago when you showing up and they kept playing you like, oh, sorry, he's not here.
Yeah. Yes.
See? Yes. Boom. Look at that. L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast. Connecting moments. Connecting moments. So, excuse me. Finding a way there being a need, actually, to find a way to cope with what was the devastation of COVID, led you, just like you named the chapter, to something great. You finally, after all the tries in the world, you finally made this pendant. And I gotta segue real quick. Okay. And I don't know if you can do this at this point. I don't know. I always tell my daughter, she was getting ready to throw a book. See, I'm segueing. This is 2 segues in one. Like, that's a creative mind. Sorry. She was getting ready to throw her old sketchbook away. And I said, what are you doing with this? She said, I'm throwing it away. I don't need it. I said, why? Because those were the old drawings. I do better than that now. I said, don't throw this away. You keep this. I was like, look, if someone had told me this years ago, I would have loved it. This is your timeline. You can look back now on these things and see how your art has evolved. Or you can look back and see something that at the time you didn't think was good, but years later, now you're like, you know what, this was dope. Let me do more with this. Just say, don't throw that away. Keep those. So now I'm kind of working my way back. Right. Sorry. So did you keep all of those variations? Do you still have them? No. Oh, okay.
Not from then, but I told you I only had one stone. So it was like I could only, wrap it one time. So I don't have all those variations. I just have the final one that I was. I do have pictures of the very first one.
You do? Okay. Well, you have something.
I do.
Sweet. Let me see. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
I'll show
The
you
reason why I'm
guys.
asking that, the, re- the reason, the reason why I'm asking that is you can, if you still have pictures, you probably can still do it. You said that you did it until you found one that you were happy with. That does not mean that all of them were bad. You may very well have wrapped one that everybody was like, "Oh snap, I'd wear this," but you like, "Yeah, that sucked."
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we see the world out of our own eyes, and
Yeah.
you there was a lot going into that decision that made the last one the right one for you.
Yeah.
So, now you're Sincerely Antoinette. You're doing big things, and you can wrap a stone like nobody's business now. So now maybe with some pictures that you have, you can be like, "Oh, that's actually a funky design. Let me do something with it." That's why I was asking, did you still have them?
I just got pictures, and yep, they were still.
You still like, nah, this is going nowhere. Like, thanks for making me feel good, but no, that was crap, and no one will ever see this. Okay, fair enough. So the still in chapter 2, the birth of something great, right? You got it wrapped. Now you're like, I like this. Now where does that take you?
So wearing that pendant brought me a lot of attention. So I had a friend of mine ask if I could make them a pendant, and I said, disclaimer, I'm not the best at this, but
I went through 500 copies before this one, just so you know.
It did. But I'll make you one, don't know high expectations of it, but I made her a pendant, and someone saw her pendant and reached out to me about purchasing a pendant.
Nice.
So now I'm like, okay, purchasing. I don't know if my stuff is, worth being purchased. And at this point, I just started giving them, like, I would just start making pendants just to practice because I enjoyed it, because it, wrapping brought me peace. It really,
okay.
and before I was introduced to meditation, that's what wrapping was for me at one point. Like, I could get so caught up in it, like it felt like I was diving into another dimension. That's what it was for me. So I would make pendants.
Writing that one down.
Okay.
Writing that one down. It felt like diving into another dimension. Man. Okay. It felt like diving into another dimension.
Yeah. It's intoxicating. It became almost like I needed to do this to feel something. At a point where I was feeling absolutely nothing. Wrapping the jewelry, I felt like, this feels good. This feels good to me. So I would wrap them and I would just gift them to family and friends. And one day this person reached out to me and was like, hey, can you make me a pendant? And I said, sure. So I created the pendant. I sent a picture and I was like, I don't know. I don't have price points. I've never charged anyone to make one of these. And she was like, I'll give you $30 for that pendant. And I said, okay.
So, you got it.
Okay.
Yes.
And we met up and I gave it to her. And I just remember my mom saying, where did this gift come from? Like, where did this come from? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And she says, maybe you should try to, start selling them.
Mm.
So it's like, let's try. And at that point, I didn't have anything. I didn't feel like I knew enough about metal, rapping, any of that. I didn't know anything. I was literally just, as artists are, I just jumped into it head first. Like, okay, let's see where it goes. And I created like this smaller website. I created order forms, and of course my family and friends, they all supported and they made their purchases. And
those
I'm
are
like,
your first supporters.
Right. I'm like, okay, it's great. I got support of my people, my village, and everything was great. And I don't know if my brother-in-law will ever understand what his statement to me meant. He made the statement to me that if I wanted this to be greater, that I couldn't depend on or solely depend on the support of just my family and my friends. It needed to be bigger. And I was like, well, how do I do that? Like, how do I get this in front of people? Like, how do I do that? Is my work even good enough to be in front of people? Like, I remember feeling this overwhelming fear, anxiety, just in doubt. I had so much self-doubt about not only my art, but myself. I didn't believe that I could do this. But for some reason, I kept going. Maybe it's the Sagittarius in me, I don't know. Anyway, he said that, and I created an Instagram page. And I just continued to create. I continued to post. And I will say within that first year, I will never forget this moment. I made a lip cuff. And her name is Teresa. Teresa saw that lip cuff on my page, and she has a huge following. I don't know at that point, I didn't know anything about social media. I didn't know anything about TikTok. I don't even think I was very, very active on TikTok. But she shared that image of that lip cuff. And I remember being at brunch with my friends and my phone going crazy.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, what is happening? What's happening right now? First viral moment. Craziness. Just from a lip cuff.
Lip cuff.
I remember going to my mom's house after that, and she was like, what are you going to do? Michael, how are you going to do this? And I didn't have an answer. I didn't have an answer because I wasn't expecting any of it.
Was it really quick? So the notifications, were they just all people following you, or are they requests or DMs?
Purchases.
Like, what was? Say again?
Purchases.
Oh,
like people were ordering. People were ordering.
Oh snap! I thought this was just like likes and follows and comments. These were purchases.
That too. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a lot of engagement, but a lot of purchases, to a point where my site completely sold out of everything that day. And
it's a good problem to have.
It was a good problem to have. It was a great problem to have. But it was
the keyword problem.
I wasn't prepared.
Problem to have, but problem nonetheless. But good one though.
I was not prepared
Mm.
for it. I wasn't prepared at all. I didn't have my shipping supplies. I was not prepared because, again, I'm not thinking on that scale. I'm not thinking that it's even possible for me to create something that people will like that much. I'm not there. So the things that I had was just enough, maybe an order, maybe a couple of orders, not 500. Like, what is happening? Like, how am I supposed to do this? And I remember coming home and sitting and praying and crying and praying and just thanking God, but also asking God, now what? Now what? What does this mean? What do I do with this? Because I'm a solo artist, it's not like, I don't.
Yeah, you don't have a team.
I don't have machines. I don't have a team. I mean, I have my support, but I don't have a team of people here that are helping me package and create. No, it's just me in my hands. It's just literally me in my hands. So I'm like, God, what do I do with this? Like, how, what is it? And I don't know how I got all those orders out, but we got them out within like 2 weeks. It took me about a couple of weeks to create and get everything out, but it really sparked a light bulb in my head to be as creatively fluent and free as I wanted to, and to see what it
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went out, I researched, and I would sit in my floor for hours, bending, curving. Ooh, what does this shape do? Ooh, what could I do with this? Let's try making a bracelet this time. Let's try a pair of earrings. Let's try some rings. And I would sit for hours making things, throwing things away because it didn't work out. And I made a lot of, for lack of a better word, mistakes. But I felt more like myself during that time because I was opening up to being as creatively free as I wanted to be.
Well, you remember what Bob Ross said? There are no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
Yeah, so.
A lot of happy accidents.
There's a lot of happy accidents.
A lot of happy accidents.
That's for it to happen like that, man. That's truly amazing. And then but you did it though. You got it out.
You
got them out. What would you say? Because, like you mentioned, excuse me. You mentioned that what this does for you, how it makes you feel. You could sit there and rap for hours. So, what is your favorite piece to work on? I like finger rings, but a really dope necklace. I love getting into that. Or, this type of metal is cool, but bending this one is a whole lot better. And how's that work with you?
I feel like pendants will always have a special place. Honestly, I don't wrap a lot of pendants as of lately, but I feel like necklaces really have a very special place because it was at the beginning of it all.
It was a thought, yeah.
Yeah, but my favorite pieces are Really, my bigger, bolder pieces, things that you probably wouldn't normally consider jewelry. I like making big, dramatic capes that kind of extend over the body, or that drape completely down and
Hmm.
cascade down to the floor, almost like a
Like
dress.
like the one you had in your story recently,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes,
Now, what
yes.
is do these? I don't know if in the jewelry world it has a name, and if it doesn't, there you go. But you know, do they have a specific? Is there a specific name in jewelry? Like, well, this is called an overgarmed necklace, or like I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I just call them body adornments.
Body adornment,
Because for me, that's what they do. They adorn our bodies in
right?
whatever form that they take. So that's what I've been sticking to. I don't know if there's a word to actually that others are
Body
using,
adornments
but
is that what we're going to take?
that's what
That's
we're
what it
gonna
is.
call them.
Yep. Okay. All right. That's now. um, what is the metal that you use to wrap?
I primarily use copper.
Copper. Okay. That's what I assume. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to say. So I know you normally use gold, and you're like, yeah, it's copper. Like, so no.
Yeah,
You primarily use copper.
yeah.
What else do you use other than copper?
I use some brass, but I prefer copper.
Why do you
Yeah,
prefer copper?
it's easier to work with.
Okay.
And I love the color.
And I look, okay, well,
I
that's
do.
always a good
It's
answer.
copper is such a beautiful color.
Now, is there also a feeling? Does brass feel different on your skin than copper? I don't know, but
Not no, not necessarily. I would say there may be like a slight weight difference, but
okay.
I feel like copper may be a little bit lighter.
Now, with that being said, because of the slight weight difference, would you never make brass earrings? You always do copper earrings because you don't want it weighing your ear down. I mean, I don't know how much of a weight difference there is, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
it depends on the gauge too. If I'm making copper or brass earrings, I'll make sure that the gauge is small enough to where it's not weighing down the ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a trial and error with that?
Oh yeah. There's a trial and error with every piece that I've probably made. Just figuring out. But, I mean, it's like with working with copper, it's very flexible, but it's almost only so much flexing that it can do. And when it gets to a point where like, okay, this is just kind of a dead end. Let's just, move on to something else.
You flexed it as much as it's
I
going to
flexed
flex.
it
You
enough.
outflexed it.
Yes.
Okay. What?
But I feel like
No, go ahead. You feel like you said you. I feel like.
yeah, I feel like now I'm at a place where if I can save it, I know how to save it. But then, no, I ran through so much metal trying to make it look or be a certain way.
Now, do you? I used to weld. Yeah, I used to make just animal sculptures.
Yeah.
Elephant. Out of what did I make? I made a manta ray. I made an elephant. I made a cobra. And with welding, if I'm welding a piece, and I'm using a flat sheet of metal, and I don't know, I do something wrong, I learned to not throw that away. Just put it in the wrong bin, right? Because sometimes when this maybe it's an integral part, and it's like, look, I can't necessarily weld that away to make that shape, but I don't have anything else, and I don't have time to, do whatever. So I'm like, oh, well, let me go to the scrap bin, and then I pull out this piece right here. This is wonderful. It'll work. Is there anything like that when it comes to, when you're making your jewelry? Do things like like we were just saying, when you out flex the copper, and
Yeah.
do you completely throw it away, or have you learned to save it because you can use it for something else? Maybe, do you have those type of situations?
Yes, I've learned to save because copper is not cheap.
Yeah.
Neither is brass. So it's like, I have like a drawer now where I put all of my scraps just in case I can come back and use it for something else.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how long at this before you realize that I need to keep my scraps?
I've been doing this for 5 years, and I will say I just started keeping my scraps maybe 2 years ago.
Wow, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh man. And then when you did, were you like, I have wasted so much time?
Yes. I was kicking myself about all the stuff I wasted.
So the piece that you have, it's beautiful, by the way, in your story.
Thank you.
The body adornment piece that you have in your story. Can you talk about that first? State what you call it. State what it's designed for. Meaning, like it's for, it's I don't know, however you would word. I'm assuming you have. I mean, you model it, so I guess that says this is how you wear it or whatever. But if you could just expound on that a little bit, the name of the piece, what it's designed for, and I mean, there's several loops with smaller connectors. Then could you go into, how you do that? Name of the piece, what it's designed for, and how you go about creating, specifically the one that was in your story.
Well, it's Farrah, and it is a body adornment that is supposed to be worn around the neck that drapes down as a centerpiece.
Mm-hmm.
It can be worn under your clothing or over, and that's what I really love about it. So if you wanted to wear it even as a swimsuit, if you want to wear it over your swimsuit, it can be a cover-up. If you wanted to wear a blazer and you want to have like an open draping space here, it could layer on top of your skin with the blazer over it, creating almost like this gorgeous centerpiece up against your skin. That piece is, I would say, about 150 circles. All
I said 120. I was close.
Y'all
Look at that.
there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just pat myself on the back for a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. So, like almost 150 circular pieces connected together by maybe 300 smaller connectors, jump ring connectors, all hand created. Nothing is bought other than the long sheet of wire. So I'm literally making these circles, making these connectors, connecting them, piecing them together to create this body adornment.
How long? Maybe you don't want to tell. It definitely takes some time. We don't have to be specific, but it takes time.
It what?
And I said, I guess maybe you don't want to say how long pieces take you to make, but they definitely.
I mean, so I work a full-time job too. So I will say.
Oh, snap. Freaking Superwoman. Full-time job, and then you come home and make body adornments with 150 big pieces and 300 smaller pieces. Man.
Listen, when I get home, and if it's a piece like that, I will sit in my little comfy couch with my comfort blanket.
Comfort blanket. Gotta have a comfort blanket. Mm-hmm.
And I'll just sit here and I'll just wrap. I'll create my smaller pieces. I'll create those in bulk so that on the weekends, all I have to do is connect them. I'll play some music, light some candles, and I'll just start connecting the pieces. I have my mannequin, I'll put her up and I'll just start
Man.
creating a piece until it works.
Until it works. So
Until it works.
so let me get this straight. It's a whole vibe in your spot when you create. You said you got the music going, you got some candles. It's like, yo,
feel good.
what you gonna do? I'm about to go over to Sincerely Antoinette's spot. You know, she creating, man. That's the place to be, man. You know. But the smaller pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are connectors, you said, right?
Yeah.
So are they, for the most part, generic? What I mean by that is you normally connect pieces with these. So in other words, you did it for the body dormant. You would also use these type of connectors for your necklaces or,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So would you say, I don't know if you do this or not, but let's say, you know, do you like, you know, when you watching, you know, the third season of Martin, you watching Martin and making connectors, you know, or you're, I don't know, you sitting there doing something, making connectors, you know, like, you know, oh, what's Sincerely Antoinette doing? You know, she making connectors, you know, that's what she do to pass time. You know what I mean? Do you just do that because you know you're always going to need a lot of them? It's just, even though you may not have a design in your mind, you just know that it's Tuesday at 5:00, got to make connectors, you know. Is that something? Is that a thing?
Yes and no. Yes
Okay.
and no. I don't do it too often far in advance because working with copper, it does, well, the pure copper that I use, it can tarnish. So I like for it to keep its color for as long as possible so that I don't have to continuously clean it. So I don't have, the pieces that I have on hand are pieces that I've created for the purpose of putting them on the site or, you know, doing content on social media. I don't have any pieces on hand that I sell. So any order that I get in, I'm creating that order right then.
Look at you here.
Yeah.
I mean, you up here sounding like freaking old school Domino's. It's like, look, there's no ready made. Okay, this is coming fresh from the oven. You know what I mean? We hand make this one on order. Okay, you know that's how that is as intimate and as personalized as you can get when it comes to an art piece that you order. I mean, you know, handcrafted is one thing, but no, for real, like I hope people really appreciate that. Like you just said, I don't got nothing just laying around. Once it's ordered, I go to work. You are getting it fresh off the press.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I mean, you know, once again, when as creators we decide to make our creativity a business, a lot of people don't know, man. Like a lot of people really don't know. It's like, yo, this took some serious time, effort, and you know, personal attention to, because you said you can clean it.
Right, yeah.
Right? So, Busset, you very well could make your life a whole lot easier, have things on standby, you know, and then clean it real good. But you're not choosing to do that. It's like, sometimes, I think a lot of times, people who don't know, like, depending on, and I would say every creative has something like that, where it's like, no, this is serious. You don't understand the care that goes into this. Yeah. You know, that's, especially when it's a business, that's got to account for a lot. And it should most certainly be representative in your pricing. It really, you know, because it should be. You're getting the best of me. You know, and you should pay for that. That's wow. That's I'm amazed that you didn't lead off with that. Yes, that's really dope. Like, for real, you literally could do it one way and the world wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
But your work means something to you, so much so that you wouldn't do that. You know, it's one thing for as creatives, for your creativity, your artistry to be a business. But it's another thing for your work to still remain passionate to you and intimate with you. Miles Davis was notorious for, at concerts, having his back to the crowd. He would play the trumpet with his back to the crowd, and people would be like, why are you doing that? Like, we want to see you play, da 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 da. And people thought he was just like being whatever. And he said, any musician knows that you hear the music better facing the band. So I play better while I'm facing the band, so I can hear, the drummer, I can hear the pianist, I can hear the violinist, and it makes me play better. You dig? So if you want the best experience I provide when you come to my concert, I gotta turn my back to you, because that's how,
Yeah.
he could turn around. And to the normal fan, they couldn't tell, couldn't tell the difference. But to him, it made a difference to him. Right? And in fact, he probably could sell more tickets because people could see him. Yeah. But it didn't, and it's those type of creative sacrifices that we make that a lot of people would just never know, but it should be expressed. And of course, we're not out here saying, I want you to know all that I go through. We're not doing that, right? But it's nice to know. I know I'm very inspired by it. Find out that you literally could be cutting down, you could be gaining a whole lot more time, but you choose not to, because this is close to your heart. If it's close to your heart, anything worth doing is worth doing right. So what's up? That's what's up. I'm amazed with that. You said I thought you were going to mention this, but you stated something else, but it made me excuse me, it made me think to ask you this question. You're working with metal, copper, brass. What steps do you take as, safety precautions to make sure that you're not, you're not getting a lot of that in your skin, as you're working with the metals, what are the safety precautions that you have to be aware of? If there's fumes or whatever, what are the things that you have to make sure that you're not just sitting there and getting high and taking off years of your life while trying to make this jewelry, so like, what are the safety precautions you have to take as a metal artist?
It depends on the piece that I'm making. Most of my pieces really don't require me to like mask up or glove up, but I have some pieces where I have to shave down the ends so that my customers aren't getting cuts and scrapes and bruises. And in those cases, I have to wear a mask because I'm using a drill and dust flies. So I wear a mask and my safety goggles and my gloves, and I make sure that I'm washing my hands after working with those tools. But for the most part, I'm just bending. I'm just kind of manipulating the shape of the metal, so it's not necessarily anything just kind of flowing into the air.
Now that leads me to another question. You're bending. And Farah is a total of 450 pieces.
Yes.
Okay, and bending. How do your hands feel? How do your joints feel after a day of making a Farah or whatever?
Tired. Very, very tired. I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm making those pieces. I'm starting to use I have a cylinder tool now where I can just kind of wrap around to create my shapes, my circles, and I'll just cut those to make all of those. But I still have to go back in and secure it to make it a full circle. So it's a lot of my wrist doing this. So
Mm.
I have a great massage therapist that I
I
go
was about to
to.
say, I'm waiting any minute to hear it. Like, and the massage therapist is coming up with. Like,
And making a
okay.
point to, like, stretch and move around
Mm.
and get up, and because it is very strenuous on my body, and I'm not getting any younger, so I have
Mm.
to make sure that I'm taking care of my hands, my joints, my neck, my shoulders, everything. So I do my part, and then I book my masseuse and let him take care of everything else.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm just like, okay, you bending. I know these joints the same. They're calling your name at some point.
Oh yeah.
At some point, the joints are saying something. Okay. All right. So let's transitioning into chapter 3. Right. You've expressed, how the family creative influence led you into wanting to be creative and actually being creative, and the situation of COVID kind of was the first initial spark that led you down the road of jewelry, and how that made you feel.
Mhm.
So now we're going into chapter 3, where you're titled as "Creating for the Joy of It: My Never-Ending Journey." So go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel as of present, the journey leading up to where I am now, I feel has opened me up to new experiences, making new connections, stepping out on faith, being brave enough to make those changes about myself and the direction of not only my business but my life. I feel like in the past I said no to a lot of things because I had a lot of self-doubt. I didn't really think that I could do it. I didn't really have the passion to do it or to actually see things through. And now I feel like I'm able to say yes to a lot more things that align with me and where I want to go, because I want to be brave. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be braver than I was before, and I feel like this journey with creating my art, my jewelry, has really opened the doors to things that I could have never imagined. When I was asked to come to Miami Swim Week, my instant reaction was to say no, because I was fearful. I didn't think that my jewelry was good enough. I didn't think it would be received well. I'm in Miami. I mean, you have these thoughts in your head, or how you think that a certain group of people may view you. I'm from Tennessee. Like, what do I have to bring to a Miami table? And I feel like the longer I've been in my creative path, the more, even in fear, because I'm not going to say that it's gone. It's not gone. I still have those moments where I'm like, I don't know, but I'm at a place now where I can say, but yes, we're still going to try this. What's the worst that could happen? Are they're gonna boo, or like are they just not gonna whatever? It's I feel like I'm getting to a point where now I'm opening myself up to new opportunities, and I'm happy for me for that, because I am not that person. I am like even with doing this podcast, I've had many people reach out to me about interviewing and speaking and telling my story, and I said no each time. But yeah,
Am I the first?
you are.
Wait, hold up. Wait a second. Wait, one minute. Let me, okay. I mean, wait, let me find out. Hold up. Am I the first that you said yes to after refusing several first? Wording it just that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna be all right. I promise. I'm gonna act right. All right. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
So yes, you are the first podcast that I have done ever. And you made me feel so comfortable about,
Thank you.
and honestly, when I expressed to you like my concerns with, speaking publicly and my anxiety, honestly, I wouldn't have given anybody that much. I would have just been like, hey, at this time, I'm not X, Y, and Z. But I feel like this was supposed to happen for a reason. So I was like, okay, at the very least, let me be honest with where I am and why I would possibly say no about, this situation. So it's like doing that, I was able to get the message from you that made me feel more secure and more, safe about being in this space. So thank you for that.
You are absolutely welcome. Look, when you were saying this, you just said it now, but I was already thinking it. I'm like, look, I'm thankful from where you are, in your journey right now, because if you weren't, this probably wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and it still very much relies on you, You allowed me the opportunity to try to convince you and make you feel a little more secure because you chose to explain yourself. I didn't have to make you do anything. You gave the reason. And I was like, oh, whew, girl, you don't know what you just did. Let me go ahead and tell you. Well, I mean, you can go ahead and give me a reason. I can make you feel all right. But yeah, when I read that, I was like, oh, okay. I felt two things. One, so glad that you expressed this, because like I said before, I think there's a lot. I'm DMing people every day. New people don't really know, if they're reading it at all, whatever. But I know a lot of people are feeling like you're feeling. And it's like, but I'm not getting anything back.
Mm-hmm.
So when you gave me your reason, and I said, yes, because it also gave me insight. It's like, oh, okay, this may not necessarily be about me. It may not be, I don't want to do your show. It's just like, ooh, I just me as a person, I don't feel comfortable being on show. So when you stated that, it was like, look, I already know, how my vibe is. I just need you to give me a chance to respond to your concern about not feeling comfortable, and guarantee everything will be good. And then when you reply back like, okay, I'll do it. I just want you to know, if I start sweating, this is a wrap. But So, but no, anyway, I'm thankful that you are at the point that you are with your journey, because it's just another notch on your belt of saying, okay, had some apprehension, but forged through. I think when it comes to anything that we're doing, we first have to feel good about it.
Yeah.
You feel excellent about your work. Maybe, version 1 through 499 of the necklace, you didn't feel too confident, but, now you definitely feel confident about your work. Now you like, man, let me go ahead and make this Farrah real quick. Get on with this Farrah real quick. Now you can do that and be like, I know people are going to like this.
Mm.
So when that level of confidence in our work is there, then it's just the other stuff, right? That's the grounding. Once we have that, then the point that you're at now becomes, first of all, it becomes a reality of being able to even consider trying out something, you know. But you know that, look, at the end of the day, my stuff is good. My stuff is great. And like you said, you just enjoy it. You just enjoy it. You just enjoy it. So I knew that if she'll just do the show, I'm just going to let her talk about her and her stuff that she loves doing. And if I find that if you love doing something, once you're talking about it, you probably love talking about it too. At least while talking about it. You know, so it's like you just make that connection. But the joy, and then you said the never-ending journey. So how do you see the never-ending journey, or what does the never-ending journey translate for Sincerely Antoinette?
So it takes me back to creating my pendant. That was the first thing that I started with, and just watching or you know, noting how much my art has evolved, how much it has changed from creating pendants to creating body pieces. I feel like at one point, you know, when I started, I was concerned with longevity. Would I continue to have ideas that interest people? And what I'm noticing is like the ideas keep coming. It's literally never ending. Not only my ideas, but people are wanting to collaborate with me. Hey, can you put copper on this? Can you put copper on that? My wife and I actually just did a collaboration line where I put copper on her fedora hats.
A quick side note.
Okay.
Could you do me a favor and please tell KB the visionary to holler at me, okay? So, because I'm saying I would love to have her as my next guest.
I will do that.
Okay, please put that plug in for the kid. Thank you very much. But go ahead.
But yeah, she's a custom hat artist, and would have never thought that I would be putting, you know, copper on a hat. So I feel like there's so much room to grow and to just open myself up to. So when I say never ending story, it's like never ending. I think that now I'm taking the cap off of the bottle. I felt like I put myself in this one area when there's so much more room out here that I haven't tapped into.
That's so deep. Another gem. Like it's you. Sometimes it's like we're the ones who can limit ourselves, not necessarily our environment. And now you're realizing that, oh snap, it was me. I was putting limitations on me.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah. So, now I'm at the point, like I said, I'm saying yes to the things and the people that I feel align with what I'm trying to do. I'm open to connecting with other artists. I'm open to collaborating and just seeing where this next chapter, you know, takes me. Because I feel like it's going to be many more chapters, you know, after this this third one. It's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I don't know what those are going to look like, but I know it's going to be something amazing. Like,
it's going to be something amazing.
Yeah.
Right now, please, because I want you to shout out. I saw that you wrote this. Please take the opportunity to do it now. You were looking for models.
I am.
So yeah,
Um,
go ahead and quickly,
I'm
you know,
actually looking for models in the Memphis area. Basically because I'm tired of being the face. I need somebody else to come and be the face for me. This will help me, and hopefully, we can build a partnership together to where we can collaborate on photo shoots and video shoots and possibly even fashion shows. I have a lot of things that I want to do within the next year, and I need models to do that. I am also looking for models who are outside of Tennessee, brand ambassadors. I will actually open that up next month. So if you are interested, please feel free to, you can hit me up on Instagram, or you can email me at adorn@sincerelyantoinette.com.
and we might as well take this opportunity right now to, what's your social media? What's all your social media channels that you
So all
would
of my
want?
social media handles are Sincerely Antoinette. That's on I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok.
At Sincerely Antoinette,
Yes.
right? Okay. At Sincerely Antoinette, no variations of that at all.
No.
Okay. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or
I'm not on Facebook.
not on Facebook? Okay, I wanted to ask. And the email was again?
It is adorn, ADORN @sincerelyantoinette.com.
And you have a website too, right?
I do have a website. Like, how did I do that? My website is sincerelyantoinette.com.
There we go. All right.
Across
Boom.
the board. Very easy. Yeah.
Very easy. Yes. Good job. Okay. So I, for one, loved and am very thankful of your creative journey from start to present. So what I would like to do now is get into the segment where I just want to ask some generic, generic questions that I ask all the creatives. First question: do you consider yourself a creative?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Love it. Next question: what's the most frustrating thing about being a creative, in particular a metal artist?
My thought process. And when I say that, I mean I have so many ideas at one time that I don't know what to do first. I don't know where to start first. But what I've learned to start doing is, when I have so many ideas at one time, even at night, I'll jolt up and be like, ooh, I'll record my voice saying what that idea is, or I'll journal it down so that I can remember, because I have horrible memory. So I'll write it down so that I can come back to it and be like, oh, okay, I remember I wanted to do this. And I'll just give myself like a timeline, or, what's priority and what can I get to later. So that has helped. But yeah, I have so many things going on in my head at one time as a creative.
Spoken like a true creative. It's just that when the ideas come, it's not even funny. This old school hip hop group called the Jungle Brothers. You heard of them?
No.
Okay. They had this track. It was the chorus went. In the chorus, yeah. I've got so much funky stuff inside my brain. I couldn't explain it. You wouldn't understand. I couldn't explain it. And that sticks with me. I mean, it's just like, some ideas. There are ideas that I thought of that I have done nothing with yet. But it just I put them in the parking lot. It's like, okay, I don't even have time to even try to get into that right now. Because it's and a lot of them have nothing to do with what I'm doing or have ever done. It's just the brain just be going. um, uh, so yeah, that's I completely understand that. Okay, third question. Where am I? Yes. How often do you fall into a creative dry zone, and what do you do to get out of it?
Often.
Mm.
I'll say within the past 6 months. Very often, honestly, which is why I started meditating.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly why I started meditating, because sometimes I feel like with home life, having a home to take care of, having a partner to take care of, working a full-time job, trying to keep up with the business part of my art, it's a lot. My brain gets very, very cluttered and clouded to the point where I'm like, I don't even have room to have a creative idea. What do I do with it? So in those times, I'm learning now that meditation does help. Yeah. It helps for me to kind of step away from everything, close my eyes, and clear my brain. Just clear it out. That's it.
No, but yep, I got it. I got it. It's I was putting out something just to keep my writing skills, sharp. I started to do these things called STPs, I call them, and I would make like this. I write this story. Stories wouldn't be more than 2-3 minutes long, and then I would make a little animation, and I would post it. And they're always some type of fantasy, and I would just do that just to keep my writing sharp. And I haven't done that in some time, So it's just it's crazy. The life of a creative is so crazy. How does criticism? How does criticism, good or bad, affect your creativity?
Good criticism. I mean, good. We all love, our flowers. That always makes us feel great and makes us feel like, what we're doing matters. The bad ones, I am learning. I'm learning to understand that it's not for me to fix those problems. Like, because sometimes I can get, well, I think I'm thinking more on the aspect of just negative comments. Criticism, good or bad, learning experience. If it's something that I can learn from that's constructive, I can take that.
Yeah.
But what I have learned and what I have encountered is sometimes it's not even criticism. Sometimes it's just ugliness that is going to come with it, because everyone has an opinion, and that is what I'm trying to learn to navigate and to learn not to take things personally. I don't know these people, and they don't know me.
They don't know you.
So it's learning not to take everything so personally. Yeah. But as far as criticism, good or bad, I feel like if it's constructive, there is something to be learned in what your viewers are saying to you. There have been times where, my viewer has said, hey, could you do X, Y, and Z? Or maybe if you add this, it may be a little bit more, hey, let's give it a try, know? But I think it's all in your perception, Yeah.
Well said. As a creative, if you had the time, what art form would you like to get into and become good at, or make a real focus?
I I really think that I would want to be a painter, like a canvas artist.
Mhm.
I'll see like my wife. She's an all around artist, but she does canvas art, and it almost seems like one of those things where how I feel when I'm rapping, where you can just dive
Therapeutic.
deep into it. Very therapeutic. So therapeutic. It's like working with paint and colors and the different textures and just to see how far you can go with canvas art. I would love to do that. Unfortunately, I don't think that I have that gift. I have tried and I just no. That's not. But I mean,
And
if I
no.
if I took a course, or something like that, I feel like maybe. But I think artists in that aspect, I think it's beautiful. It's to
Mm.
witness like the journey of it and the final product. It's like, wow, I think that would be so cool. And the guitar, I would love to play the guitar.
Okay. Okay. Well, now is that more sentiment than just interest, or what?
Maybe a little bit more sentiment, but yeah.
Okay. Um, Painting is very therapeutic. Um, I don't have the time to do it anymore, but it is very therapeutic. Lastly, last question. What are the most, excuse me, what are you the most thankful for as it relates to your creative journey?
Hmm. So I'm gonna say grace. I I'm thankful for I'm thankful for God's grace because I have been very, very hard-headed. I have been very, very, very stubborn. I have been. Uh, I'm just grateful that I'm grateful for God's grace. Like because I know I know what that journey looked like. I lived through it, and there are a lot of things that I could have done differently and better, and I didn't. I wasn't listening. I wasn't in a place where I could hear, think, or see things
Mm-hmm.
clearly, and yet I'm still here. And things are not failing. Things are not falling. I'm still able to do exactly what it is that I love because of God's grace and God's patience with me. And it's not over. There's still so much more room for me to grow. There's still so much for me to learn and unlearn. Yeah, I'm grateful, thankful uh, for God's grace. Yeah.
Okay. Um, you expounded on that, but um, those of us who have experienced God's grace, we didn't need the explanation. We know I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's always where my thanks goes first and foremost. Um, so ending off with uh, taking it to the gut, GUT, which stands for giving up the tangibles. So resources to help creatives who have been where you are, metal artists who have been where you are or trying to get where you are. What what should creatives, metal artists do to get better?
I'm gonna tell you something that I did not do. I did not take a course. I did not take a class.
Okay. Yeah, because
I
you
am
said it
going
was no
to.
thought.
Yeah, but I'm
Oh.
planning on taking a course. I would suggest you wherever you are, whether it's Memphis or in your own city, find a metalsmith. Find a course, a class, a jewelry class to help you hone in on your techniques for wrapping. I wish that I had done this. I probably would have saved a lot of metal had I done this. But I would definitely say take a class. If you're not able to pay for a class, YouTube is your friend. You can definitely find somebody teaching you whatever technique that you're interested in learning. And it's free. Be kind to yourself. If I can't give you anything else, be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace and know that your beginning is not your end. Do not give up.
Yes.
Do not give up. And as far as like, go to like your local Hobby Lobby or Michael's and just start making stuff. Just start creating. You have to start somewhere.
Just start creating. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. What should they do, metal artists, to best promote their work or themselves?
One, wear your work.
There you go.
If it's jewelry, I'm assuming, if you're doing jewelry, wear your jewelry. Wear it to work. Wear it to the grocery store. Wear it to the market. Wear it to the park. Wear it because someone is going to stop you, and that person is going to ask, "Hey, where did you get this?" And tell them, "I made this." Do local markets. Social media is also great. Social media has helped me quite a bit get a good following. But for the most part, I would say definitely wear your work out. Markets is like the footwork where back in the day, people would sell their stuff out the trunk of their cars. Like, that's what I'm trying to get back into, doing markets, local markets, so that people can actually see, feel, and experience my jewelry and me, the person who's making it. So yeah, just get out there, start talking to people, get comfortable in front of the camera, unlike myself. Do the opposite of what I've done. Talk to people, engage with people.
Look, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, I know you was mad nervous. You know what I'm saying, and you said it, and we joked about it and everything. But if you had not mentioned that, I'm glad you did. But if you had not mentioned that, as you're speaking, I'm looking at you. I don't think anyone would have been able to know that you weren't very comfortable in this setting.
Okay, thanks. I meditated before this. When I woke up, I woke up and I was like, let's water Granny. Like, let's care for her so we can get our mind off of this, and we're gonna see it, and we're gonna be okay. So yeah, I prepared for this.
Well, but obviously preparation is key. But I'm just saying, like, there are more than a number of ways for those who know what they're looking for you to see that someone is nervous or apprehensive, not sure what to say, not sure how to say certain things. A number, and you have not done any of it. The fact, there was, when you had to, let me think about that. Okay, well, obviously there's going to be times where I didn't think about that. That's normal stuff. But nothing was there to show or to exhibit or state or convey in any way, shape, or form that I wasn't the first person that you had a podcast with. It was, it was nothing at all. You seem like, this is what I do. It's just another day. So you're better than you think.
Thank you.
Man, the last resource question: how do they get started with? What would you say? As far as you want to be a metal artist, in particular with jewelry, get started by doing this. then you may very well kind of answer that, but go ahead.
Yeah. I would say again, go to your local hobby stores. Here is Hobby Lobby, Michael's. Get you some. I don't think that they have like copper wiring there. They may have like some aluminum, which is a softer wire, which is honestly perfect for beginning. It's cheaper. It is very, very soft metal to get you used to using your wrist and just kind of bending and manipulating the metal to your liking. I would say just start with something. Start with a pendant. Start with a necklace. That's probably the easiest thing that you can do. Personally speaking, it was the easiest thing for me to start with. Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first. Sincerely Antoinette says, start with a pendant.
Start with a pendant.
Start with a pendant. Well, for someone who was very apprehensive, we have been speaking for almost 2 hours. So, I want to thank you very much. I am a fan. Your work is exceptional. I never visioned jewelry that way. The last thing I thought about was a Farah. What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that. I'm like, oh man, go ahead. Like, what is she doing here? And then like, what's that one with the hat? Like, well, not the thing that you have, the jewelry piece that you have.
Oh, the one that can like transfer from a head piece to a neck piece to a shirt. Is that?
I didn't even know we could do the whole. But yes, that joint. What's that name?
Yeah. Mia? Where is Mia? Yeah. That's one of my favorite. That one, honestly, that one was so crazy because it started out as like a choker, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can make this a headpiece. And so I had to recreate what I had originally created to make that work in 3 different ways. And it's one of my favorite. That's probably one of my favorite pieces right now.
I was just getting ready to ask you what's your favorite piece, but look at that. So I mean, you are true creative through and through. There's no denying it. And obviously, you've already seen a lot of success. Success as far as purchasing, put it that way, because success is measured in different ways. But you've already seen that, and I have no doubt that, you'll see be a basketball game, and one of the signs on the big screen is Sincerely Antoinette, But yes, you are very much creative. I am very happy once again that you agreed to be on the show. This was great. I thought this was fun. This was not just great. It was fun. It really was. I very much enjoyed myself. You gave how to get in contact with you. Sincerely Antoinette, how was your time on the L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast?
Amazing. I didn't even realize we've been speaking for over 2 hours. I just felt so comfortable, and it was good to finally speak about my entire story and my entire journey so far. So thank you for creating such an amazing platform for us. And thank you for inviting me.
You are more than welcome. And, I was just getting ready to say to you, you are more than welcome to come back. And I never thought about that. Like, having guests come back, because once again, right, what do we say? You give 3 chapters of where your creative journey started and where it is present.
Yeah.
I definitely, trust me, if my dream of your jewelry comes into fruition, the very next thing I want you to do, okay, is be like, oh, send me that DM. The dream happened. Angela Bassett was wearing my stuff. So I need to talk about it on the L.O.S.T Creatives Podcast. Okay?
Yes.
All right, for real. Like, I want you to, you can celebrate with KB, whatever. And then after that, immediately after that, I'll
Okay.
ask it, okay? Please.
Okay.
All right. So, but yeah, now you just inspired me to think about that. Once have return guests, and then tell us where you are, from that point on. So that's really great. But
Okay.
inspiration comes from when you have the time to do or be with something great. So I thank you yet again for a great show and for giving me another creative idea, and I most certainly wish you the best, and I'm going to promote the heck out of this episode.
Thank
Okay, straight
you.
up and down. Is there anything that you would like to leave your viewers with, your clients with, as a from Sincerely Antoinette to them?
Ooh, my sincere babes. Y'all already know I love y'all real big. Like, honestly, none of this would have happened without y'all support. I love y'all so much. I thank you for continuing to rock with me, supporting me, giving me your grace, your love, your feedback, your comments, your questions, all of the things. Just know I love y'all and I can't express that enough.
That's what's up. Okay, well, there it is. Once again, the magnificent, fearless, Sincerely Antoinette. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody once again for tuning in, for listening in, and tell me your story.
Yeah.